Josh, what's the difference between building influence in the B2B world and the B2C world? Are there also fake followers and fake engagement? What are those thought leaders in the B2B world looking for?
This is one of the interesting differences between B2B and B2C is that, I mean, you can literally buy anything on Taobao, right? But the B2B space has not been perhaps infected so much by fake followers and such mostly because there just isn't demand. There aren't that many B2B influencers like there are in the B2C space. And what you see with Artem and Susie is that they're very tied into who their audiences are. They know their audiences. They know what makes their audience tick, what they like, what they don't like. They don't have to run surveys. They don't have to do focus groups. They just know who their audiences are. And so they can then create content that they know is going to connect with that audience. And maybe they don't get it right 100% of the time, but they have a very high success rate because they really know their audience as well and they can empathize with their audience. And for executives, it's exactly the same thing. They need to know who their audience is, who they're speaking to, which may or may not be exactly their customers, and then they need to know what content is going to produce the reaction that they want to get from those customers. And if they get those two things right, then they generally have success. What we see in terms of mistakes with B2B influencers is that they don't know who their audience is and they don't know what content to create. So they're just creating all sorts of crazy content, throwing it out there, hoping that something sticks. But they don't even, if you sit down and you say, who are you trying to impact with this? They'll say, well, I don't know, consumers? Well, that's not really being in touch with your audience.
And which platforms shall people use for thought leadership?
So it depends on your audience. You follow your audience. You go where your audience hangs out. So we have clients who will come to us and say, well, I want to go after this certain demographic, and the first question we ask is, where is your demographic hanging out? Where do they consume content when they're looking for the type of content that you want to produce to showcase your company and what you do? And then they'll say, well, we're a visual type of company, and so our product is very visual, so we start talking about YouTube and Instagram because these are visual mediums. And if they say, well, people generally are reading case studies and things like that, then we'll say, well, let's go look at business magazines because maybe that's where your clientele is hanging out, is they're reading Forbes or Fortune or some other business magazine. But we always follow the audience because if you produce content, you put it in a place where the audience is not, well, yeah, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, in the past year, I had a fascinating journey on LinkedIn. I built an audience, I think, of about 25,000 people and very high engagement. And actually, I found what my audience likes by accident. Honestly, by accident. I was in Las Vegas. I was on a business seminar. And then I received from a friend, a report on China. And I felt it was a fantastic report. And I was also doing research for my book. I'm right now writing another book about new retail. So that report was about new retail. And I was like, that's a fantastic, fantastic piece of information. So I basically screenshotted a couple of those slides. And I put it on my LinkedIn. And I said, guys, it's a great report. It's free. You know, I didn't pay for it, but if any of you want, just drop me a line and I'm going to basically share it. It was amazing. Next morning I wake up and remember, I'm at a business conference in Las Vegas. I open it up and I look at my LinkedIn. I was like, what's going on? 350 comments below my post on LinkedIn, right? And I've got like, by that time I had 20,000 people on my LinkedIn. So I look at it, and they keep growing. I think that post right now has about 3,000 comments. It's crazy. It's impossible to reply all the people. But then I figured out they want reports. So right now, what do? Twice or 3 times a week, I share reports on China. And people are loving it, right? So it was a complete accident. Not that I was putting random stuff on LinkedIn. I was still trying, you know, thought leadership on China, on marketing, on this and that. But sometimes it's also luck. Would you agree, right? Sometimes you just stumble across something beautiful like that, right?
For me also, because I
stumbled upon your content.
Yeah, because like I was originally produced a lot of pictures, and at the time one of my followers asking, can you shoot a video about how you write your journals and create these stuff? So I said, okay, cool, sure. And I create video and post it online, and I went to sleep, and the next morning I wake up. And I found there's a very big account with maybe 500,000 followers. He shared my content. And one night I was growing like...
Cinderella story.
Yeah, 5,000 followers, like from 2,000 originally to 7,000. And yeah, from now on I was continuously producing videos about how I journal and the content about it, and it's like growing very, very fast and virus.
Absolutely. Talking about platforms, what are the most exciting platforms that you see right now in mainland China? We already know that they're very different from, from what we have in Hong Kong. So what are the platforms that you're most excited about right now?
For me, compared to Douyin, I'm more excited about Bilibili actually. Because for Douyin, it's too fast. And the content you can input is very limited. It can only give the audience one impression, like, oh, there's a new product. But for the other use or for the content inside, you can show nothing. So for me, Bilibili can best express what the audience want. And it's like, because people now in China are in a very, I would say, hectic way. Because they're too busy. And they're busy for their life, busy for their work, and they don't have time to really enjoy their lives. So why Bilibili now is growing very big? Because it creates a time for the mass audience to interact with themselves. Like, because Bilibili, they can show the pop-up comments on the video. Like now we have 1,000 people are watching the same video. They can discuss. They can discuss on the
Real
screen,
time.
real time,
Real-time
like
is big.
showing this page. Oh, the man is so cool, or this way is so cool, the thing is so beautiful. And so they are, I would say, they build virtual connections with the same audience like them on Bilibili. And so I was very interested in this one. And also, like, vlog now is growing in China, and vlog's best place is now in Bilibili and Weibo. So I would say these two platforms have the best potential.
So video content, real-time content, yeah, super, super important. And about posting times, actually, what do you think is the posting most highly popular time during the day when people check Chinese social media?
6:30.
6:30, wrong. Wrong, boo. Okay, what is the time? 8 o'clock in the morning, wrong. Midnight, no. 4 p.m. I was so shocked. But then, hear me out. I mean, look at Susie nodding there. Hear me out. So imagine this. Again, we talk about different audience. We're not talking about, school kids. Yeah, we're talking about working professionals, right? Or university, but primarily working professionals, right? So these people are in the office all day.
Yes.
And imagine this, by 4 o'clock, they're really tired. They're really bored. They go to the bathroom.
In the bathroom watching our videos.
I'm sorry to break it to you, but very likely. Very likely so.
They might not watch the video at first. They will just comment. Oh,
Hate it.
You post a new video. I will save it. I will watch it after my work. And just like the school kids, like you need to sometimes work for the office lady, office people, but not work for the school kids. And they are the most active when during the 11 o'clock and also 6:30. So some of my the brands who cooperate with me will ask me which time did your audience are the most active.
Yeah, that's actually a very good question. Because if you post it at the wrong time, even if the video is good, it has a potential
And
of
I
not
would
reaching
say
anyone you wanna reach,
maybe the dinner time in on Saturday, and they say, "Whoa, there will be no people," but they say, "No, but my audience will be there at the time." So
all it takes is
Absolutely.
your audience to pick it up, and then they share it to their audience, and it also spreads. So I think when you're working with the influencer or whatever, it's important to catch their audience first, and then catch everyone else, because they're going to spread it.
Absolutely, absolutely. For me, for LinkedIn, for instance, when you read all those guides about LinkedIn and, what you need to publish on LinkedIn, everybody says, do not publish over the weekend. I can tell you my LinkedIn posts over the weekend are twice as popular. I've got no idea why.
Because nobody else is posting on the weekend because they're following their
Maybe,
advice.
exactly, Josh. Thank you so much. Now I know. But basically, people are commenting. I was like, who wants this? Who wants that? We're like, yes, me. I was like, guys, why are you on LinkedIn? It's the weekend. Yeah, but I'm on LinkedIn as
You know
well.
why they're on LinkedIn? Because it's the working professionals who work all week long, but then they get there on Saturday and then they get annoyed with life on the weekend. And they're like, I
With
need a
kids,
break. I
you
need a
know.
break from my kids for just 5 or 10 minutes. And they go on
They
LinkedIn
go on
and they see
LinkedIn.
what content's there. And that's who you're picking up on weekends.
Oh, so guys, weekends and LinkedIn is amazing. Now that's beautiful.